Who is the baddest man on the planet? There are currently two UFC heavyweight world champions, undisputed champ Jon Jones and interim champ Tom Aspinall. And while many people are calling Jon a duck and not wanting this fight because he would lose, this is how Jon Jones can beat Tom Aspinall in a fight. So this is not a prediction video, but these are just the keys to victory for Jon Jones, how he gets this done. And right off the bat, we know he's the older guy. He's maybe not as hungry as Tom Aspinall is on the come up. He's young. He's never held the undisputed belt, but Jon Jones moving up to heavyweight, and he's cleared out Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic, which granted, Stipe definitely not the most worthy title challenger when Tom Aspinall was right there, but Jon has the experience edge in loads as well as the wrestling, the striking, that he is known as the greatest of all time for his skill set. He definitely has the tools to beat anyone on the planet, including Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are very quick to count Jon out and are already saying that Tom Aspinall is just going to bulldoze right through him. And for many reasons, such as he is the younger guy, he is more active, he's been getting so many finishes in the first round, and he's been able to dominate all of his opponents. And as well, he's naturally a lot bigger than Jon Jones, in which Jon has had to come up and bulk his way to heavyweight pretty much, and is not really a natural heavyweight, as he is pretty much just a light heavyweight. And for these reasons, a lot of people are counting out Jon Jones and saying Tom Aspinall is definitely getting this win and is going to go all the way to claim that undisputed belt, and is going to give Jon Jones his first official loss on his record that isn't a DQ. So definitely a lot of favor giving to Tom Aspinall. However, like you were saying, Jon is definitely the very experienced guy here. He has so many title defenses, 10 plus, has beat generations worth of fighters in the past. He has more title fights than normal fights, and he's been in the UFC for so many years now, and he has 2 heavyweight fights under his belt now, which I think is a lot better for him to be accustomed to getting used to the feel of heavyweight, as it definitely is a lot different to light heavyweight. That weight difference plays a massive impact in the way you move, the way you're able to throw strikes, the speed of it, the power. Coming off of the torn pec injury is a massive thing for him to be ready for Tom Aspinall.
The glaring part, in my opinion, not only is the experience, but the championship rounds, going the distance experience. We really haven't seen Tom Aspinall tested past the 3rd round. Really, he's never gone 3 rounds in the UFC. He's only ever made it out of the 1st round, gone 2 rounds with Andrei Arlovski and maybe someone else, but other than that, he's either submitting or stopping guys on the feet in less than a minute or in the 1st round. Like, he has the shortest average fight time in the UFC right now, and in my opinion, it's going to be very tough to just bulldoze and run through Jon Jones, chin him in 1 round. Like, Jon Jones is known for having a fantastic chin. He's taken some hammers in his career, granted against light heavyweights, not against guys as big as Tom Aspinall, as fast as Tom Aspinall, as explosive as Tom. But even though Tom is the new breed, we haven't seen him tested at the highest level. And the wrestling of Jon Jones, he's one of the best wrestlers in heavyweight MMA for sure, and I don't see Aspinall just coming in there and submitting him in 1 round or just putting him on a clinic. So he's really going to get tested, and I feel like Jon Jones' best way to beat Tom is really to drag him into the deeper waters, drag him deeper into the fight, because he's been there, he has that experience so many times. He's gone through the fire in fights like against Alexander Gustafsson. He's been down in fights and come back like against Dominic Reyes, granted a controversial decision there, but still, you know what I mean. I think for Jon, he needs to drag Tom into the deeper waters, really test him and see how he fares later on into the fight, and he has to dig deep.
Yeah, definitely, and more to how Jon is going to win this fight. I think one of the biggest factors here is for him to really just use his fight IQ and all of his years of fighting knowledge and combine that with his multiple tools that he has, which one of Jon Jones' greatest strengths is just being such a well-rounded fighter. So him being able to utilize his fight IQ in addition to all the various different tools he has on the feet, utilizing his elbows in the clinch, using knees, trying to keep distance. Although it definitely will be different for Jon Jones to have his mastery of distance management compared to a light heavyweight who's smaller and has a smaller reach than Tom does. But regardless, he is the greatest ever pretty much at managing distance. Regardless if you hate his tactics of some of his eye pokes and the controversy there, he still is a master of it regardless, and is able to mix it up. Taking him down will definitely be a big thing here. We know Tom Aspinall, at least for heavyweight, has very solid wrestling and has been able to take guys down. However, Jon Jones is one of the greatest wrestlers ever, and we're really going to see Tom Aspinall's wrestling be tested here along with his clinch work. So this is definitely one of the biggest areas in which Jon Jones could shine here. He's not going to pull a Tom Aspinall and just bulldoze through, and most likely won't get a first round finish. If anything, it's going to be grinding him out, like you mentioned as well, getting to the later rounds, seeing if Tom Aspinall's gas tank is able to last, because we know Jon Jones's will, and see if he can measure against his tempo. Like we saw in the Stipe fight, Jon Jones is best when he's fighting at his pace and his tempo. If he's able to implement that as well against Tom, and maybe after the first round where Tom is not as explosive and not blitzing as much, and he's able to keep his pace on the feet as well in addition to the grappling, then it definitely significantly raises his chances of winning this fight.
Yeah, what makes this fight so interesting and what makes it a great matchup, if it actually does come to fruition, is that both guys are at such a high level and are so well-rounded everywhere in the fight, on the ground, on the feet. Obviously, we know Tom Aspinall's boxing is beautiful. Crisp hand speed, nice footwork, obviously the head movement and the chin. Maybe the chin is up a little bit too much, but so is Jon sometimes. Jon Jones definitely isn't known for his pure boxing. On the feet, doesn't have as great of hands as Aspinall, so you don't want to just go in there and start trading hands in the first round, because that's where obviously Aspinall is going to be the most dangerous. You want to mix it up, use those kicks. His kicks actually impressed me a lot, especially in that Stipe fight. I know obviously it's old man Stipe and he's very, very slow compared to his old former self, and even in his prime, Stipe wasn't the fastest guy, but Jon impressed me with those kicks. That spinning back kick that he knocked Stipe down with and just crumbled his rib cage with was a fantastic shot, perfectly placed blow. And at heavyweight, maybe Jon's going to be a little bit slower, but he's going to have to use those kicks. But if he's on the feet, he can't just be trading in there with Tom Aspinall with his hands. Use those kicks, mix it up, the elbows, the knees, 12 to 6 elbows here and there, now that they're legal.
And a lot of people might say that Tom Aspinall having huge question marks on his game, as we haven't seen that much from him, to be honest, as he hasn't been in the octagon for that long because he just finishes everyone so quick, as a good thing. And Jon won't be able to prepare, as that's one of his greatest strengths too, is the amount of research he does on his opponents and breaking down their film and finding out all their tendencies. But as well, for Tom going into that fight, knowing all the skill set that Jon Jones has is a dangerous thing, as you gotta worry for so many different various techniques coming at you, whether it's his insane oblique kicks he has, whether it's his elbows, his variation of elbows, flying knees, flying kicks, his spinning back kick we just saw. And it seems like Jon is still able to develop new techniques, again, like the spinning back kick against Stipe. Yes, old man Stipe, but still. And him being able to mix up different techniques is going to be essential to staying unpredictable. But for Jon, he's able to keep a pace for 5 rounds effortlessly, as we know. So definitely a main thing is the huge question mark on Tom Aspinall and how he's going to look after the first or second round, because we already know how Jon is going to look.
So in my opinion, early on into this fight, Jon Jones does have to be a little bit cautious of the danger that Tom Aspinall presents, both on the feet and the ground. So I'd say keep his range early. Don't just sit in the pocket, trade with Tom Aspinall. Obviously, to mix it up, use what he does best, the wrestling, the grappling, and the kicking, the boxing, and to bring Aspinall into the deeper waters, to drown him, to make it a tough fight, test Aspinall. You maybe want to intercept Aspinall's boxing, using that range, intercepting with kicks, and utilizing footwork, head movement, and just use that championship experience that we know he has in his back pocket to win this fight. If he does all those things, he definitely has a great chance of beating Tom Aspinall if they meet in the octagon. Hopefully this happens for the UFC Undisputed Heavyweight World Championship in 2025. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. How does Jon Jones get it done against Tom Aspinall and remain as the baddest man on the planet? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the video on screen for more Punch Talk.